and welcome everyone. Before I'd like to begin, I'd like to warn you that this video is probably haram. But why? Because it involves gambling, and gambling involves probability, and babi is haram. But still though, for real, if you're Muslim or underage, I would suggest you to stop watching. Without further ado, for this week, category is Gacha Games. So, what are Gacha Games? From Wikipedia, it says that Gacha Games are video games that implement the gacha, which is the capsule toy vending game mechanic. It is similar to loot boxes in that it induces players to spend in-game currency to receive a random virtual item. Technically, it's not gambling, I guess, but they sure got you spending money. Anyways, I'll rate how great each game is with yeets. The better the game is for me, the more yeets it gets. Okay? Yeet! First off, we have FGO, which stands for Fate Grand Order. But in my terms, I'd like to call it Financial Game Over! Okay, can all the lights know? FGO is an online role-playing gacha game released in 2015. It was developed by Delightworks and published by Aniplex. It features turn-based combat mechanics where players build teams of heroic spirits or servants to fight enemies. Players go on missions, gaining experience cards to level up their servants and progress in the game. Kinda like Persona 5 and the retro Final Fantasies? Yeah. But honestly, the game gets kind of monotonous if players aren't previous fans of the Fate Stay Night story, since FGO follows the original storyline of Fate Stay Night, the visual novel. I do find the graphics extremely outstanding, and it really boasts its very high production value. +1 to FGO. Now you're wondering, FGO sounds amazing, isn't it? It can't be that evil. So why are people going bankrupt over this? Because there's only a 1% chance in drawing a specially super rare SSR. Only 1 in 100 people. You know what's crazy? Because this game is so difficult and addictive, right?
People spending hundreds and thousands of dollars.
Why? Why do you do this to yourself? You don't want money? You give me lah. You think being eager very cheap, is it? Oh, I know already. You got no girlfriend, is it? You got no life. Secondly, we have furry fantasy. And hey, I don't mean that kind of furry. I meant the cute hybrid animal girls game, Arknights. Arknights is a tower defense game created by a Chinese company known as Studio Montagne or Hyperglyph. It came out last year on iOS and Android. The graphics of this game is exceptional. What I love most about the game is that you get beautifully drawn characters that turn into really adorable chibi sprites that come with unique backstories for people who love a good roleplay. The strategic gameplay is very fun and replayable because not only do you get your usual archetypes such as the basic defenders, snipers, specialists, vanguards, and even medics, they come with distinctive abilities! So you can actually use your brain and not steamroll the entire game with 2 characters lah. Gacha-wise, there are 2 currencies used, Originite Prime and Orundum. How original! Originite Prime, the premium currency, is obtainable through purchase or completing missions for the first time. It is used to purchase premium items such as gacha rolls and character clothing. As for Orundum, which is free, it is much easier to obtain. They can be farmed and they are often handed out during events. One can use it to recruit new operators. For my very valid thoughts on the game, I kind of like it. Honestly, because it's less punishing than the others, there is actually a chance to get a 6-star anime waifu if you grind hard enough daily. The character design is... because you have to admit it, furry waifus are cute, right? So I give this a 4 yeets out of 5, and that's pretty yeeting high, I'd say. Thirdly, we have So for the third game, we have Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battles. Dokkan Battles is puzzle-based, similar to retro arcade gameplay. The main idea of the game is to beat up the enemy. To do this, a player must match different kinds of orbs to launch attacks and abilities. Not too creative, but I'd say it did work, like back in 2015. In this day and age, I'm kind of expecting a little more, the graphics of this game is 2D based and pretty mediocre in my opinion. But it does allow the retro aspect of Dragon Ball Z to shine through, which some of you might appreciate. Looking at you, boomers! Anyway, the gacha currency is called Dragon Stones. It takes 5 for a single roll, and it will cost you about $4 US. Is it worth it? What do you think? Fun fact, the game has exceeded 300 million global downloads and has grossed over USD 2 billion in worldwide revenue. Definitely making fans' wallets go kamehameha! A cool thing about Dokkan Battles is when the player unlocks Dokkan mode after multiple matches. Players then have to tap 7 targets in a Z-shaped configuration as the key orb passes over them to create the special move, the iconic Kamehameha! My voice! And the final rating is... What? Most of the players are from Japan anyway, right? It's not like they can fly over here to get me, right? For the conclusion, the winner of my favorite gacha game is... Congratulations, anime waifu gacha game! I mean, Arknights. You did well! Now, dear viewers, it is time for the epic message of the day. As much as these gacha games gacha opening your wallets, it is important to keep your finances in check. Whilst these gacha games may be free to play, remember that bankruptcy is just one roll away.
Okay, start.
Oh my god.